thanks so much for stopping by today. I am going to show you how I painted this design. Inspiration once again came from one of my granddaughter's shirts she had on. Isn't that crazy? But anyways, I look for inspiration all over the place, and that happens to be one of the places I seem to be finding a few of them. So anyhow, let's get started. I already went ahead and base coated the black cardstock that I typically paint on. So I wanted to show you first of all what paints I'm going to be using today. I will be using the Engine Red. All these are folk art enamels or folk art multi-surface paints. And then this one is Evergreen and Italian Sage. The Evergreen and Italian Sage will actually be what I'm using on the leaves. Wicker White will be used with the Engine Red and the Magenta to create the flower petals. And then I'm going to use a multi-surface Cinnamon for just kind of the inside of the flower, on the main flower, and a little bit of the dabbing in one of the open smaller flowers. Alright, as far as the brushes go, I washed them and set them out. I am going to be using a number 0 liner brush, 2 of the 3/4 flat brushes, and then a number 4 round brush that I have. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by creating the bigger flower first, using the red and the Wicker White, double loading my brush with the Engine Red and the Wicker White. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the red first. Now, I did just recently paint this just all one side. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that paint too. That's the Cayman Blue for the background. It is still a little damp, so I may pull in some of the blue as I'm doing this, which is fine. Like I said, I don't mind doing that. And I'm just going to be doing a basic kind of wiggle coming up and down. Just kind of a very, I don't know, kind of, I don't know how I want to say this, edge of the flower that's kind of ruffled. And you can go over it, and like I said, if you don't like the coverage that is being presented, you can go back over it. You know, to give it more of the opaque look, or, you know, whatever's missing, you can definitely go back over that and fill it in. Okay, on this one, I kind of want it to drop down a little bit. Again, as I've mentioned several times, when you're painting like this, no two are going to be identical. So just make sure that you remember that if you're selling your items and not just doing one of a kind, make sure that you do indicate that as you're painting and selling, because people will have expectations of everything looking the same for whatever reason. I'm going to go ahead and do the red part of the more of a closed kind of a part of the flower down here, since I'm working in the red already. And again, I'm just kind of going back over it and filling it in. You know, just get it how you want it to look. You know, it's okay to go back over. Definitely fine. And I did my sample, and then when I recreated, I did my flowers a little bit bigger than I did the first time. So I'm going to try to minimize that somewhat, but like I said, either way is fine. Now this particular pattern I will be transferring over to a glass. My last one that I chose not to do that. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not cleaning my brush out. Sorry, I hit my camera. Not cleaning my brush out, but I'm going to go ahead and double load the Magenta and the Wicker White. If you want to throw, you know, whether doing a hair dryer or whatnot, onto this before you continue on with the next step, that's perfectly fine. I'm choosing not to do that. And again, now the next one I'm doing is going to have the white on the outside of the petal instead of the inside. And you can go up and down, or if you choose to want to just continue on and make like one continuous petal look, that's fine too. It's just really up to you, and I'm trying to do this to where you can actually see my petals and how I'm creating them, hopefully. It's so hard when you're a lefty and you're trying to video. And it's a little harder to work on this surface when the paint is not completely dry. So keep that in mind too. The paint doesn't move quite as well. I'm getting more of a unruffled, ruffly kind of edge there, which does not make me so happy. I'm going to turn this, and I want to bring this petal over on top of the red a little bit. And like I said, you can see where with the paint being whiter and not as, or wetter I should say, and not as dry, it's pulling some of the blue in. Which, like I said, you can cover it up, or you can go back over it, or allow the blue to show if you want it to do that too. Kind of gives it a little bit of interesting look, but it is pulling the paint up a little bit more than what I had wanted. You can also let it dry a little bit and then go back over it if you wish. Either way, it's fine. Okay, and continuing on to this bottom flower. You know what, I might rinse my brush out. And if you don't like that look, like right in here, you can go ahead and maybe hit it with the dryer. I have a, what's it called, a heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, use a hair dryer. That's fine too. Maybe set the paint a little bit more before you paint over it. Might need some more white here. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. But I love the color combinations on this. I really do. Oops, starting the wrong direction already. It's awesome. And like I said, I'm just basically doing some basic wiggling with it. It's just not anything really difficult. And it doesn't have to be real clean lined. I'll just pull it up like that. Then I think I am going to go back over this one a little bit. I'll have to clean my brush out a little bit. Might just do it a little bit lighter. Yeah, I think it's still pulling it. Part of my problem when I was doing this, I did hit it with a dryer, but I apparently Alright, I went ahead and dried this a little bit more with my heat gun and see if that'll allow me to get the look I want better. This is a good video for you to be watching because then you can see, you know, if something doesn't turn out quite great, you can always fix it, or at least try. If you're working on the glass and it's doing this, guess what? Rinse it off and start again. If you're working on canvas and it's doing this, may not be such an easy fix. You don't necessarily want to throw away your canvas. You could actually repaint. I'm not going to even attempt to go over this other one. I just want to make this one, fix this one to be more what I want it to look like. And I think it definitely has helped to dry it a little bit more. Ruffle that a little bit more there. Like I said, if the blue didn't bother you, and typically it doesn't bother me, I got more blue in there again. Awesome. I think this time it was actually in my paint. Get some more white that's a little bit cleaner. Well, sorry for all this. My actual piece before this was not as difficult for some reason. I know why. Because the paint was drier. Hopefully you're getting the gist of it though, is just keep working with it until you get it to look like you want it. You just touch it a little bit and clean it up. You get the gist of it, for the most part. Alright, so the next part I'm going to do is take my round brush that I have, and then just kind of, even though the paint is wet, I want it to be, I'm just going to take this brush and just lightly keep pulling this color. And this will be for the center of the flower. I'm just going to keep pulling it down into that a little bit. And then, like I said, just keep pulling it up. Just light little strokes. And it's not going to be a real noticeable inside of the flower, because the deepness of the magenta and whatnot, but it's there. You just keep pulling it, get it to where it looks the way you want it. And then I'm going to take the smaller liner brush, this little one, dip it into the engine red, and then I'm going to create my little pieces on the center here. I don't know if these are the things that are called the stamen of the flower. And just slightly pull. It's a really thin liner brush. Whatever you feel comfortable with doing these kind of strokes, then do that. Again, it's just going to be a light, just very light, not real vibrant as far as the contrast goes. And if you wanted to make it more vibrant, of course, knock yourself out. I'm just doing a mixture here. I'm not doing a certain count of any sort. And then I'm just going to take my brush, same brush, and then just kind of lightly put little dots where I think these ends are at. If you want to use a contrasting color, you definitely can do that. But it's just really light, like that. Alright, so I'm going to leave that as it is. And then I'm going to go back to that liner brush that I was using. Not liner brush, but the round brush. I'm going to come down here, turn my paper, and then I'm going to work on the little buds. Now the buds that I'm going to be making are, well, this one is going to actually be more of just a smaller open flower. But I'm just pushing. I think I need to push it down more. And I just keep turning my paper. I thought I used a different size. I did. I'm sorry, I forgot to add this one. I'm going to actually add an number 8 round brush. I thought it seemed like it was making a different kind of a stroke than what I wanted. Same thing though, basically. It's a round brush. I'm going to come in here and just put those in. And then I'm just going over it with a little bit of white. If you wanted to double load the brush and do this all together, you can. Be my guest. But I'm doing it all at once. I am going to throw a little bit of the magenta in to it also. Now this one I'll go over a little bit just to get it to look the way I really want it to look. But I like it to have a little bit of mixture of all the 3 colors if possible. And then throw some white back into it. Just kind of building it a little bit. Alright, then I'm just going to do a couple extra buds because mainly, I really do like them in 3s. When it comes to flowers, I like flowers. Design, I like them in sets of 3. Okay. And just do another one down here. That's what I really like that. These won't be real distinct because they're buds. They're just kind of a little bit of mixture of the 3 colors again. And that's fine. Alright, so I think with these we're pretty much done. I'm sorry for all the confusion with the silly brushes, but here we go. And then I am going to now do the leaves. Again, that's a mixture of the sage, the Italian sage, and then I put together a mixture of the Italian sage and the evergreen together to come up with the little bit darker green that I'm using. Alrighty, so let's do this one. And we're going to do it as if it's coming from the side here. And then just keeping the little leaves, just kind of wiggle leaves, but not really anything too crazy. Like that. And then bringing in another one over this direction. Like I said, as you're placing stuff on your paper, you might have to make some adjustments because it may not be exactly the way it was when you painted the one prior. But that's okay. It's still a similar design. Alright, so I'm doing that. And I can come down here and maybe add a 3rd if I wanted to. And then I'm going to add a few more out the top of it. Like out this direction. Again, it's still just in a slight wiggle up. Sorry if I'm not getting it in here. Up. Just wiggle my brush slightly and then bring it back, wiggling it. You can leave it as it is, or you can actually do a little vine through the middle if you want. I'm choosing just to leave it as it is. Get a little more curviness to this next one. Just pulling it back in like that. Fine. Yeah, if you want to do something out that direction, you certainly could. I'm choosing not to. I really don't want to. My next vine here is going to go out this direction. And then I'm going to do some petals up here, chunk there. I think these are pretty, and I do really like how this turned out. And like I said, I can go back this way. I can maybe just do a smaller kind of a stroke here. That's fine. To just not make anything really too big here. Got a little pink in there, which is good. I'm going to pull it back through here. And then add some more sage. And of course I'm getting blue because I didn't let it dry. So I guess it's probably best to still let it dry a little bit. But the point of wanting to get another video out, I didn't do that, so I'm sorry. However, I think it's okay. I think you're getting the gist. That's the main thing, right? That you're understanding what I'm doing. And then on these, I'm tying these into this one. And I think we're going to go a little bit like this. Bring just a smaller leaf out. Again, just wiggling and pulling it in. And you can do little one stroke kind of leaves, or just these little ruffly leaves, up to you. And then I will, of course, tie these buds into the whole game, like that. Did I touch the red? Yay, yay, yay. Of course I did. Up a little bit, pull that in there, and I'm just going to do, now you can do like a different size brush too. I'm just sticking with, I feel like I've used so many different brushes with this that I'm just going to stick with this big one. But to do like a smaller leaf kind of thing, you can do that. But it's okay. You can just do kind of a side pull leaf if you want. Bring it in like that. And let's go ahead and do that. Bring it in. Do another leaf out like that. And that's fine. Here you go. Alright, so then, like I said, if you wanted to pull through and do some vining, or even some more extensive vining, you could do that too, but I'm not going to do that. With the center, I am going to finish that off. For this little flower here, I'm just doing some dotting with my brush, and then I'm going to add some white into it. But you could do brown, you know, if you wanted to give it more definition. Throw some darker brown into it. Either way, it's fine. Or you could just do simple dots around it. Like I said, either way, it's fine. Just have to play with it a little bit and see what works for you. I'm going to leave it like that, I think. Again, sorry for all the confusion here with brushes and paint. Paint not drying, but I hope that you like it. Really just a simple design, and I will transform this over onto some painted wine glasses. And there you go. If you like my videos, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you get the notifications whenever I post something new. And then like, share. I'm still working on getting my full 5,000 followers. I'd appreciate any help you can give me on that. Happy New Year, and I hope to be doing more videos this year. And please stop by again. Have a good day.